By virtue of the powers vested in me as the Chancellor of Walter Sisulu University, I declare this congregation open for the conferring of degrees and awarding of diplomas and certificates.
Her Excellency, Walter Sisulu University Chancellor, Dr. Sheila Sisulu, my Lady Chairperson of Council, Judge Dambuza, in absentia, and members of Council, Vice Chancellor and Principal, Comrade Rob Mageley, and the entire executive management, the Convocation Alumni Executive, the Chairperson of OR Tambo Chapter for Convocation, Mr. Chuchan, the SRC President, Mr. Mkozang, and other SRC members, academic staff, distinguished guests, parents, fellow graduates. We are gathering today in this jamboree at a very critical time in African politics, after the falling of one of the greatest leaders in Africa. This leader was characterized with courage, boldness, and resilience. A leader who never feared the enemy. A leader who never lost sight due to threats and torturing by the unpopular apartheid regime that robbed us our land. Today, we are here to celebrate you and congratulate you, fellow graduates. I want to also warn you about the world. This is one of the greatest graduation ceremonies Walter Sisulu University has ever had. Just yesterday, we honored the noble son of the soil, Dr. Zincedile, and we are due to honor the mother of the nation, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, in due course as a doctor of social sciences. Those leaders had an outstanding contribution in fighting for human rights, equality, liberation, unemployment. Those leaders had detested poverty and have made an extra effort to fight poverty and other opportunities we are having and enjoying today. Now, will you, fellow graduates, emulate the cause of the greatest leader, Winnie Madikizela Mandela? Will you plow back to your communities like the great son of the soil, Zincedile, is doing? Through it all and in it all, we are still standing firm and thanking Walter Sisulu University for making us. We never had an alternative because we come from poor and disadvantaged backgrounds like you do. Are you willing then and ready to defend our alma mater on media, press, or you will be the first ones to publicize bad information about our university? Are you willing and ready to defend WSU and tell the world what is going on in WSU and who has been produced by Walter Sisulu University? Will you tell the world that two justices in the Constitutional Court of the land, Justice Madlanga and Justice Chapter, were produced by this university? Will you tell the world that the first black president of the Supreme Court of Appeal, Justice Mandisa Maya, was produced by this university? Will you tell the world that the leading political analyst, Dr. Somato Tafikeni, was produced by this university? Will you tell the world about Dr. Lwazi Lushaba, who was produced by this university? Will you tell the world about the first chairperson of SAICA and also who was the former Auditor General of South Africa, Dr. Terence Nombemba, that was produced by this university? Will you tell the world that Nokuzola Koboto, the first black chartered accountant, was produced by this university? When you go out to the world, will you tell the world that Dr. Vuyo Mtwesi, the youngest female cardiologist, was produced by this university? Will you tell the world about Dr. Numisa Chilata, who is the youngest neurosurgeon in Africa, that she was produced by this university? Will you tell the good news about this university to the world? Will you tell the world that Advocate Ngai Tobi, who is known as Upaiwe Mteto, was produced by this university? Comrades and fellow graduates, because I'm addressing teachers, I just want to tell you what a teacher is and what you must be in the world. A teacher is like a candle that burns itself to light the world for others. God made teachers. God understood our thirst for knowledge and our need to be led by someone who is wiser. He needed a heart of compassion, of encouragement, and patience. Someone who would accept the challenge regardless of the opposition. Someone with sagacious eyes who can see where eyes cannot see and identify potential and believe in the best in others. So God made you. A teacher is a leader, a pathfinder, a developer, a nation builder, a parent, a career shaper. Without you, our country and nation is doomed to failure. I've found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. You will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. If you don't fail, it means you are not even trying. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeout. People remember the home runs. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't, because the 1001 was a light bulb. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks. Sometimes it is the best way to figure out where you are going. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. Whenever you feel bad and there are difficulties, just remember that Coca-Cola only sold 25 bottles the first year. Never be discouraged. Never hold back. Give everything you have to give. Pray more. Pray again. God will answer you. The book of Proverbs carries some interesting injunctions in it. It says, I quote, choose a good reputation over great riches. Being held in high esteem is better than silver and gold. I close the quote. These are the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, the king of Israelites. In this book of accumulation of wisdom from generation of godly, insightful people, this book promotes the life of virtue and fear of God. Put God first in everything you do. Advocate Ngugai Toby a few weeks ago talked to us about being indispensable, being ethical, being responsible, relevant, and reasonable. It's better to be a good Walter Sisulu University graduate who contributes to the life of Walter Sisulu University than to be a rich graduate who cares less about our alma mater. We thank parents for bringing you to Walter Sisulu University. We thank them for standing and falling with us. Fellow graduates, go to the world and shine. Shine bright like stars. Never forget your alma mater. This is what must guide you: wisdom, integrity, and excellency. Your certificates have this information in the seal, and we are the only university in the country with an inspirational quote which is found in your hoods by our own stalwart, Walter Sisulu, and it says, I quote, the battle shall have been won if by 10 of the next century poverty, squalor, degradation, and diseases shall remain but distant and fading memory. I close the quote. I am here to congratulate you. I congratulated yesterday Dr. Sisangebulana. Also Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela must show us signal. Mama, we need signal to see how can we transform this university. Alala ke maqobokwazana ngalala endleleni yazini kunyembelekile. Sithi ewe lento kakade into yalonto. Thina nto zaziwa sothuka nganto. Kuba sibona kamhlophe sithi bekufanele. Sithethe engqondweni sithi bekumele. Xa bekungenjalo bekungasayi kulunga. Lenqana umendi namhla yendisile. Ngoko kwasothathe kwaqala ukulunga. Hlana siyikhaya sithethile nani. Sasabamba izandla sakwamanzi amehlo. Sabalilonyoko mhlabangqulukule koyihlo. Hlana siyintaba zakowenu naliflathele ilizwe lakowenu. Umhlana inikele imivilamo intaba zakowenu. Ukuthi kwelozwe nilidini. Congratulations, may your motorboats fly high. Congratulations.
By virtue of the powers vested in me as acting Chancellor of Walter Sisulu University, I declare this congregation open for the conferring of degrees and the awarding of diplomas and certificates. You may be seated.
And the Deputy Chairperson of Council in absentia, the Chancellor of Walter Sisulu University, Dr. Sheila Sisulu in absentia, the Vice Chancellor and Principal of Walter Sisulu University, Professor Rob Mitchell, and the entire executive management, the convocation alumni, the President of the SRC and SRC members, the academic staff, distinguished guests, parents, fellow graduates, be pleased to receive our warm and fraternal greetings from the Convocation Alumni Executive Committee of Walter Sisulu University. Fellow graduates, we are here to say congratulations to you and wish you all the best in the future. We are here to thank everyone who supported you during your studies, parents, teachers, friends, etc. You must be proud of yourself for completing your studies with a university. Then what is a university and what is its purpose? It is an institution which offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. They offer such programs leading to the master's degrees and PhD. Further, it is to create and prepare minds of its graduates for the outside world, to shape and contribute immensely on the economic development of its country, to vanquish sicknesses and defeat poverty, to create peace and stability. President Thabo Mbeki, on the 26th August 2011, in University of Stellenbosch, acknowledged the invitation to speak about the future of students and youth in Africa. And he said, I quote, "The Council of University of Stellenbosch has identified some of its goals to stimulate dialogue, to encourage critical thinking, and to reach for a more transformed campus." I close the quote. He further go on and on, talking about the youth and their struggles, making reference thereof to the uprisings of Egypt, and Tunisia, starting with the overthrow of the ruling groups. But what I single out is that a university is a place where dialogue, critiques, conflicting ideas, and the right to freedom of expression, association, and dignity need to be respected. Debate and dialogue must never be stifled in a university. We are worried as WSU graduates with how fellow WSU students relate to each other. when it relates to fighting and killing each other. The 10 years reports of killings on campus reminds me of William Butler Yeats of 1919 in his poem The Second Coming. And he sounded an alarm bell and warned us to avoid the dangers ahead of us. Please hear the words of the poet, not only with their ears, but also with their hearts. He said, turning and turning in the widening Gaia, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The sender cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dying tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. Close the quote. We need to preach Ubuntu in Walter Sisulu University, which makes us different from anyone in the country. But what is it that constitutes Ubuntu? Beyond the standard and yet correct rendition, Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. The book of Proverbs in the Holy Bible contains some interesting injunctions and capture a number of elements of what I believe constitutes important features of the spirit of Ubuntu, which we should strive to implant in the minds of WSU community. The food of the soul that would inspire all our students to say they are proud to be WSU students. The book of Proverbs says, withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand to do it. Say not unto thy neighbor, go and cometh again, tomorrow I will give, when thou hast it by thee. Devise not evil against thy neighbor, seeing he dwelleth securely by thee. Strive not with a man without a cause, if he has done thee no harm. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. The book of Proverbs assumes that as human beings, we have the human capacity to do as it says, not to withhold the good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of our hand to do it, and not to say no to our neighbor, come again and we'll give you something tomorrow, even when we can give the necessary help today. It assumes that we can be encouraged not to devise evil against our neighbor, with whom we otherwise live in harmony. It assumes that we are capable of responding to the injunction that we should not declare war against anybody without cause, especially those who have not caused us any harm. It urges that our actions should not seek to emulate the demeanor of our oppressors, nor adopt their evil spirits. Fellow graduates, go to the world and shine. Shine bright like stars. Be willing at all material times to take risks. Never fear to fail. If you don't fail, it means you are not even trying. The unemployment is rife, but those in particular who have passed their studies with cum laude, I challenge them to further their studies. Never give up. Keep on trying. When teachers graduate, something comes to my mind, that what is a teacher? And a teacher is a guider. A teacher is a compass. A teacher is a leader. A teacher is a director. A teacher is a mother, is a parent. Therefore, we expect you, all teachers, to behave as such. Sithi kunike, godukani izizwe liphelile ityala. Godukani bantu iphelile into ibithetha. Utsho ke yena uZanzolo, luthi uhlwathi lamagqaleka, kuzigodlwana zemazendala zingalala endleleni yazini kunyembelekile. Utsho inkunzi abayikhuza ukuhlaba ingekahlabi, kaziboze bathini namhla yagweba, kuba yozigwebe ngelomkhombe ndakukhangela. Yivani ke zizwe sinixelela imbali. Congratulations, thank you very much. The Chairperson of Council and the Deputy Chairperson of Council in absentia, the Chancellor Dr. Sheila Sisulu in absentia, the Vice Chancellor and Principal for Walter Sisulu University, Professor Rob Mitchley, the Convocation Alumni Executive, the President of the SRC and the entire SRC, members of Senate, members of IF, distinguished guests, parents, and fellow graduates. Be pleased to receive our warm and revolutionary greetings in this august gathering on behalf of the EXCO of Convocation. Fellow graduates, we are here to say congratulations to you and wish you all all the best in the future. We are here to thank everyone who supported you during your studies, parents, teachers, friends, etc. You must be proud of yourselves for completing your studies with a university. Then what is a university and its purpose? It is an institution which offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. They offer such programs leading to a master's degree and or PhD. Further, it is to create and prepare minds of its graduates for the outside world, to shape and contribute immensely on economic development of its country, to vanquish sicknesses and poverty, to create peace and stability. President Thabo Mbeki, on the 26th August 2011 in University of Stellenbosch, acknowledged the invitation to speak about future of students and youth in Africa. He said, I quote, "The Council of University of Stellenbosch has identified some of its goals to stimulate dialogue, to encourage critical thinking, and to reach for a more transformed campus." I close the quote. He further go on and on, talking about youth and their struggles, making reference thereof to the youth uprisings in Egypt and Tunisia, starting with the overthrow of the ruling groups. But what I single out in that a university is a place where dialogue, critiques, conflicting ideas, and the right to freedom of expression, association, and dignity need to be respected. Debate and dialogue must never be stifled in a university. We are worried as WSU graduates with how fellow students relate to each other, fighting and killing each other. The timeless reports of killings on campus reminds me of William Butler Yeats of 1919 in his poem, The Second Coming, when he sounded an alarm bell and warned us to avoid the dangers ahead of us. Please hear the words of the poet, not with ears, but also with the heart. Turning and turning in the widening Gaia, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the sender cannot hold. Near anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dying tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. We need to preach Ubuntu in WSU, in which makes us different from other countries. But what is it that constitutes Ubuntu? Beyond the standard and yet correct rendition, umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu, mutu ki mutu, kabathu abungwe. The book of Proverbs in the Holy Bible contains some interesting injunctions that capture a number of elements of what I believe constitutes the important features of the spirit of Ubuntu, which we should strive to implant in the minds of WSU community. The food of the soul that would inspire all our students to say that they are proud to be associated with Walter Sisulu University. The book of Proverbs says, "Withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand to do it. Say not unto thy neighbor, go and cometh again, and tomorrow I will give. When thou hast it by thee, devise not evil against thy neighbor, seeing it dwelleth securely by thee. Strive not with a man without the cause, if he has done thee no harm. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways." I close the quote. The book of Proverbs assumes that as human beings, we have the human capacity to do as it says, not to withhold good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of our hand to do it, and not to say no to our neighbor, "Come again, and we will give you something tomorrow," even when we can give the necessary help today. It assumes that we can encourage not to devise evil against our neighbors, with whom we otherwise live in harmony. It assumes that we are capable of responding to the injunctions that we should not declare war against anybody without a cause, especially those who have not caused us any harm. It urges that in our action we should not seek to emulate the demeanor of our oppressors, nor adopt their evil practices. Fellow graduates, go to the world and shine. Shine bright like stars. Be willing at all material times to take risks. Never fear to fail. If you don't fail, it means you are not even trying. Unemployment is rife, as President said. Further your studies when you are unemployed. Good luck to your future. Remember, Coca-Cola only sold 27 bottles in their first year. Never give up. Keep on trying. Sithi ke godukani izizwe liphelile ityala. Godukani bantu iphelile into ibithethwa. Utsho ke yena uZanzolo, lutsho uhlwathi lawo kogxaleka. Kuzigodlwana zemaze endala zingalala endleleni yazini kunyembelekile. Kuba kuthi inkunzi abayikhuzi kuhlabi ingekahlabi. Kaziboze bathini namhla yagweba. Alala amaqobokazana ngalala endleleni kunyembelekile. Congratulations.